In the last episode, we were waiting out weather in Norfolk, Virginia, and deciding whether to take the deep water of the Virginia Cut or tackle the Dismal Swamp.
Here's the thing. The Dismal Swamp has a projected depth of 6 feet. There's a warning in here saying there's no guarantee that you'll always have 6 feet of depth. Don't rely on your charts.
Yeah, I think we should take the Dismal Swamp. We should. It's the How can you not want to?
I want to. I worry that we might be taking the dumb option again.
And in this episode, we go through the Dismal Swamp, and in a completely impossible to predict, unforeseeable incident, we run aground.
Arthur, I'm just in so much mud.
I think our after's in mud as well.
Well, that I can't push off.
We left Norfolk, Virginia on Friday the 13th, motoring past the Navy shipyards.
As I look at the sheer size of that boat being built behind us, I am struck by the fact that the propellers on that weigh as much as our boat does, and they're on a spinning shaft that is pushing the weight of that boat through the water. And the thing that stops that shaft just pushing right through the boat is a Kingsbury thrust bearing, and those two pieces of metal are held apart by a film of oil 10,000th of an inch thick. That is amazing, and without it, that boat's not going anywhere. That's pretty cool.
We headed down the Elizabeth River in the company of several other sailboats, but soon we reached the fork and we made our turn to head for the lock at the start of the Dismal Swamp Canal. But while we were waiting for the lock to open, the current caught us, turned us sideways, and wedged us firmly into the mud.
Current has caught us.
Trisha from the Arts of Venice. I'm going to stay outside the greens.
Arthur, I'm just in so much mud.
We jockeyed back and forth for about 15 minutes, trying to work our way free using the engine and the rudder.
Robert, I need you in hanging on to things.
But eventually we broke free and made it into the lock.
In the lock again.
With golden great store, and I never will play a wild rover no more, and it's no nay, never, no nay, never, no more.
What lies in that cloud?
Once we were past the Deep Creek Lock and the Deep Creek Bridge, we entered the Dismal Swamp Canal. It was originally proposed by George Washington. It was hand dug by enslaved people. It is a haunted place, and it is hauntingly beautiful.
No nay, never, no more will I play a wild rover, no never, no more. Then from that pocket I took sovereign's prize, and the laughing.
The reflections in the black water times can be dizzying.
We're a little concerned. We got stuck. We got delayed multiple times in a variety of ways. A bridge was down that is almost never down, and then another bridge was down, and they took forever to open, and now we're fighting daylight, essentially. We're fighting a current as we go through the Dismal Swamp. We're very slow. The sun is setting. The sun will set before we get to the first place that we could possibly pull over and tie up, which is the Dismal Swamp Welcome Center.
One of the reasons that we're worried about getting to the Welcome Center on time is that we can't go much faster right now. Because when we got stuck in the mud, I think we got mud in the filter or in the intake for the cooling water for the engine, and our engine is running hot, and every time we try and get a little more speed out of it, it gets even hotter. I mean, we could stop and try and clear the mud out of the filter, but that would cost us more time. Or we keep going with our speed limited by the temperatures. It is the dilemma of the rising balloon. Do you let go now, or do you hang on to the string and keep getting higher?
Luckily, the water enters the canal halfway along it, so the current flows in both directions. Once we reached the halfway point, the current was helping us.
I just left Virginia.
So in spite of our overheating engine, we made it to the Welcome Center on time and found that there was no room to tie up. We were going to have to raft, that is, tie up alongside one of the boats already there.
These wonderful people on the Red Eagle are letting us pull up beside them so we can just get onto land. They're very, very nice.
Coming way too fast.
If we slow down too much, we lose.
No, you're not going to get here on this one.
Nope, Arthur isn't going to do it.
And of course, this happens.
Trying to raft with the current wasn't going to happen. We had to head down to a little wider space and try and turn the boat around in the middle of the canal.
Yeah, I think the current's going to smack us against this.
Trying to turn around. And then hopefully we're going to try and pull up beside the Red Eagle. This time, easier. We're going to go against the current, which means this should be way easier.
Turning around was the hard part. Once we were coming back against the current, we rafted easily.
These two dogs.
They love to be carried.
I don't think you can do it, Robert. This is why you have a bit achy back. You do things like this.
Sideways kind of maybe.
Hold on.
Right?
You've got your neck thing all caught. Okay, I'm gonna get it off you. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, that can't be comfy, huh? I know. You've got my arm. Well, get your arm out.
You're stuck?
Hi.
Stuck
It's
on
nice
a
to meet
puppy.
you.
Shout out to everyone on Soul Matey.
As the evening mist settled on the canal, it was time for us to turn in for a well-deserved rest.
Before we could leave the Welcome Center, we had to deal with the engine overheating, and that was a question of cleaning out the water filter, which had sucked up so much mud and silt from when we got stuck. They had to keep emptying it and then running water through it and emptying it and running water through it. If you've watched our previous episodes, you know that to get the cooling water to the engine, we have to open the through hull through this floor hatch.
Is the through hull open or closed?
Through hull is open.
There it is. Close the through hole.
Through hole open.
Whenever we open the hatch, we're always careful. We announce it. Hatch is open, hatch is closed. So I was going back and forth, I left the hatch open. So I was really careful to warn Danielle, the hatch is open. 10 seconds later, I stepped into the hatch. I went down like a sack of potatoes. Something really hurt and my foot started swelling up. We needed to get out of the Dismal Swamp.
As we headed down the rest of the Dismal Swamp with a couple of the other sailboats from the Welcome Center, my foot would not bear weight and was getting worse.
No, nay, never, no more.
We have two boats in front of us. One of them has one dog that's really mean to other dogs, and the other has two dogs that are really nice to other dogs.
Once we were through the lock, we were on the Elizabeth River and heading to the next place we could find a doctor.
No more, and it's no, nay, never.
We're at the Pelican Bay Marina in Elizabeth City. This is home base for a while. Once we got to Elizabeth City, we randomly met a guardian angel, an amazing guy called David who helped us tied up when he saw us coming in. He turned out to be a sailor with years of experience. He gave us a ride to the urgent care. They took some x-rays and the guy came out and said, yeah, your foot is all kinds of crunched up, or a spiral fracture of the 5th metatarsal. It's in an area where the bone doesn't heal easily. So we're going to have to wait and see whether it will heal on its own or whether it's going to need surgery to replace a bit of bone that has died. We're just not going to know for a couple of weeks. So we're going to hold up here for a while and see how things pan out.
I asked her for credit, she answered me nay. Seeing a custom like yours I could have any day, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play a wild rover. No, never, no more. Then from that pocket I took sovereign's prize, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said, I have whiskey and beers of the best.
So maybe this is our season finale, or maybe it's just a brief pause, and in a week or two we'll get cleared from the doctor and we will keep motoring down the Intracoastal Waterway to new adventures. For now, signing off. A Pirate's Life for 3. We hope you've enjoyed watching.
And I'll ask them,
Let's see if we caught anything.
and if they'll forget me as oft times before, then I never will play a wild rover.
But it's starting to rain. So,
The crabs like rain?
yep. Crabs eat during the rain when it's winter. We should have something after the rain.
Will I play a wild rover? No, never, no more.